This is just your average apple, but it can go so far. I'm not talking about how high I can toss it, but rather how many mouths it can feed. Food is essential to human life, and nourishing the planet so we can continue to grow food, like this apple, is very important. Geography doesn't stand in the way anymore of Americans getting the food they crave year-round. What was once seasonal can now be purchased anytime due to increased global travel of produce. Our massive food production system has provided many benefits: greater choice, convenience, shelf life, and lower prices. But this added convenience has not come without cost to our environment, health, and economy. Mass production agriculture has resulted in depletion of topsoil in many parts of the country. Fertilizers and pesticides have polluted groundwater and surface water, contributing to mass algae blooms in our Great Lakes and threatening our drinking water. Fortunately, it's not hard to reduce waste and make a positive impact on our health and economy. In fact, there are many recipes for a more sustainable food system. A first step is to think about your food choices: what you eat, where you eat, and where you spend your food money. You don't have to change your entire diet. When you can, think and buy locally.
Allen Neighborhood Center is a 15-year-old community development agency serving as a hub for activities that promote the health, the safety, stability, economic well-being of residents of Lansing's East Side as well as other stakeholders. In 2004, we launched the Allen Street Farmers Market, a seasonal outdoor market. It has grown tremendously over the years. It has gone from a market of 4 or 5 vendors and drawing 150 people a week to one that features 22 vendors now and draws 800 or 900 people every Wednesday between 2:30 and 7. Food-related programs, of course, are I think really have major impact in this neighborhood. Our weekly pantry, the Bread Basket pantry, serves about 120 people every Tuesday. Folks who come in to collect several loaves of bread and produce. Well, not exactly emergency food for folks. It supplements their groceries pretty substantially and makes a difference to people in this low to mod neighborhood.
The average fruit or vegetable travels over 1,000 miles to your plate. That means more travel time, more packaging, and less sustainability.
Food production and the way that we gain our sustenance as a species is primarily through agriculture, and has been for thousands of years. And the impact that we have on the environment and our ability to continue to feed ourselves is very great. And how we steward those agricultural resources and those natural resources that help contribute to our ability in terms of soil and water quality for us to continue to be able to feed ourselves is critically important as a species and as a society.
I think it's really important to teach people the skills that they need to live a healthy lifestyle and empowering them with all the things that they need so that they can grow their own food and feel like an important member of society and giving back to their community.
Sustainable and organic agriculture is really looking to take that perspective and that long view and that ecological lens to say, we wish to farm in ways that harness the sun, water, and organisms to create a system that doesn't diminish its ability in the future to grow food. We focus on those kinds of production techniques here that foster soil building and soil organic matter and biodiversity as well as crop diversity on the farm. We do that through a variety of different techniques, so we're constantly adding soil organic matter and things that are really important as the foundational kind of components for organic farming and farming in general. Local production, I think, has its own values and merits, and there are many local producers who are might not be certified organic, but might be growing organically or ecologically. There are certainly many local producers that might be growing conventionally, but no matter what the case is, those people are producing food in your community. The money that you're spending to buy that food from them is recirculating. That builds connectivity in our communities and it builds connectivity in our economies that are tangible and real
Buying local not only supports local businesses, it also has a broader effect on regional economy. When you spend $100 at a locally owned business, more than twice as much of your money stays in your community.
Farmers and food producers love that we're able to bundle services, and they can rent our kitchen to create value-added product that, again, they sell at the market or through the exchange, which is a food hub. Wholesale market, essentially, that links growers and food producers in mid-Michigan with commercial and institutional buyers, with caterers and restaurants and grocery stores and hospitals and schools. The primary reason for having a food hub is to really support small farmers and medium-sized farmers because of the aggregation function. If we have a buyer that wants X pounds of tomatoes that is out of reach for one small farmer, perhaps 4 small farmers can meet that requirement, can meet that order by our aggregating the product. Most institutions just don't have the time to cultivate relationships with 15 different farmers with 15 different delivery dates, but we offer a one-stop shop. The state is interested in developing a network of food hubs. The state is committed to developing food processing and food aggregation and distribution centers to really increase the consumption of Michigan-grown product by Michigan people.
One of the things that we do really well is a lot of year-round production. So we're engaged in local year-round food production using passive solar hoop houses. So we have greenhouses that we are growing in. They're heated only by the sun. We're growing cold hardy plants, kale and chard and choys, collard greens. We're able to provide those foods to our members, our CSA, Community Supported Agriculture members, who come pick up a distribution of the farm's produce every week. And we have about 80 winter memberships, and in the summer we have 150 memberships. Also, we sell at a farm stand on campus for 7 months of the year, and we sell year-round to the MSU dining halls.
With over 49,000 students attending Michigan State University, you can imagine the amount of food that goes to waste in cafeterias is sky high. And while the university encourages students to not be wasteful, they have found a green way to dispose of this leftover food with the anaerobic digester.
It's not a major solution to energy generation, but it's that overall environmental benefit, sustainability benefit of energy and landfill diversion and fertilizer generation that we think is the real benefit to this project. The large white vessel is about 400,000 gallons in capacity. It is at a temperature most days of 103 degrees Fahrenheit, even though our outside temperature today is only about 20. Inside of the white tank, it's a warm, balmy 103 degrees. What we have inside of that digester is a mix of manure and food waste and other organic waste or byproducts. By putting those together, and it's about half manure and half food waste and oils and cafeteria food waste from campus, by putting them in there at a warm temperature and giving them about 26 days of residence time, we get an anaerobic bacteria that grows. And the tank is sealed airtight, so there's no oxygen or very, very little oxygen in the system. So we get these anaerobic microorganisms that grow in there and populate, and they essentially break down the organic waste. And in the process of breaking it down, methane is released. And underneath the white dome is where we collect the gas mixture that we call biogas. It's not quite as good a heating value as natural gas, but again, we're creating it from a waste product just generated naturally. In the green container is a 12-cylinder engine that's been converted over to run off of biogas. And the generator generates about 400 kilowatts of electricity every hour. The power that we're producing today is being used on campus to power buildings in the South Campus region, the buildings around us, some of our research laboratories. The potential benefits are, of course, we're generating renewable energy. We are also having a reduction of carbon emissions. Because we're taking manure and digesting it and destroying methane and other greenhouse gases, we actually have a net greenhouse gas reduction, which is important. We're also diverting about 10,000 tons, which is the food waste side, from landfills or wastewater. The other product that we have after digestion is fertilizer. We have both liquid and solid fertilizer, and so we're able to use this manure as well as this other organic waste to become organic fertilizer.
Composting is easy to do, although there are some pitfalls that you can come into. But if you try to genuinely have enough carbon, or browns, as people say in layman's terms, to go with your greens, so your vegetable waste and scraps from your kitchen have enough leaves or straw or cardboard or newspaper to go with, then you'll be pretty successful. You'll avoid the problem of a pile that smells like rotting vegetables as opposed to something that shouldn't have really much of any smell.
According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, in 2012 alone, more than 36 million tons of food waste was generated, with only 5% diverted from landfills and incinerators for composting. The 34 million tons of food wasted that went into landfills creates hazardous methane gas once the food starts to decompose. This gas has 21 times the global warming potential of carbon dioxide. If composting is not an option for you, try these other food-saving methods. Plant your own herbs to use at your convenience instead of buying too large an amount for one recipe.
Garden boxes, windows, growing things in container gardens, like all of those things work fairly well as long as you have a location that receives a fair bit of sun depending on the crop that you're trying to grow.
Plan out your week's meals in advance before going to the grocery store to prevent impulse purchases. You're less likely to buy things you don't need or won't consume. Save spare ingredients for future meals. Leftover pieces of vegetables can go towards making soup stock. Soft fruits can be used in smoothies or breads. And monitor what is being thrown away each week. Does the cheese mold over before you can finish it? Has the gallon of milk soured? Consider a half gallon or a smaller size carton. Reevaluate the amounts you are buying and realistically eating before the food starts to go bad. Clearly, there are many options for residents, businesses, and institutions to support, help reduce waste, and improve their health, environment, and support their economy. These are the keys to local and global sustainability.
You know, I think that we're working pretty diligently to create both a solid neighborhood food system. You know, a neighborhood where people have access to food that is healthy and green and fair, you know, all of that the Michigan Good Food Charter requires. But also developing strong connective tissue with communities throughout mid-Michigan. You know, working with people really throughout the Tri-County area on food system strengthening initiatives.
For us, it's really that we're able to have an integrated solution to organic waste management. Not only manure, but food waste and residential waste, just a variety of waste that we can, you know, maximize the value by generating energy and generating high quality fertilizers and doing it in a way that's you know, both financially sustainable but also, you know, environmentally sustainable.
There is a multitude of opportunities right here in the Capital Region to make a positive difference in our community and on our planet. At least we've offered a little food for thought. For more information on these issues and to find out how you can make a difference, visit midmichigansustainability.org. And that's all for this special feature on food sustainability. Be sure to catch our next installment of Sustaining the Future right here on HOMTV. I'm Aaron Jordan. Thanks for watching.